Guys, I'm not sure where to begin other than to say that I am so angry at the moment, and I hate to say that because I know as the minute I confess to my angry emotions to someone's immediately going to stop watching or even unsubscribe. I hope they don't. I really hope they take a moment to hear me out. This has been a long time coming. I'm not angry at people in my private life. The ones I'm angry at are the big name pagan authors who are exploiting their own pagan brothers and sisters. I just don't understand that behavior. I'm sure you can even see it in my face. I'm so angry at the thought that I am completely flushed in the face right now. I just don't know how we came to this point that we seem to be accepting exploitation as commonplace within the craft, that we just take it with a grin on our face and expect it to happen. Maybe I'm going about this all wrong. Maybe I should share some examples with you of what I mean, just to give you an idea as to where my sense of personal outrage is coming from, because I have always had an extremely short leash when it comes to the exploitation of anyone, no matter who. Whether it be economic exploitation, exploitation based on sexual orientation, or religion, they're equally just as abominable to me. I hate to say it, but I even think that exploitation of magical workers seems to be even more paramount in the hoodoo or conjure community. Um, it's it's absolutely rife everywhere you look, um, and they use the desire to know magic, to know the ins and outs of a practice, a procedure, a of magic, of religion as an enticing bait to ultimately exploit people for financial gain. I have seen people ask for thousands of dollars for an initiation, and even in some religions, such as well, I won't name any specific religions. I'm not that sort of person. I don't name drop. But in some religions, it is actually an expected part that you pay for your initiation. You pay out thousands of dollars for your initiation. Otherwise, you don't get it. You don't get that degree. You don't get to tell people that you are a high whomever. That you get to establish your own house or your own coven. Um, but where these pagan authors in particular got the idea that they could really exploit their pagan brothers and sisters. Um, God, I just want to know where they're getting this idea from. I would never in a million years exploit any of my readers. In fact, if anyone came to one of my book signings, I would be so grateful and thankful. I would give them a free hug, with a book signing that would move me to tears. Um, Yet it's come to the point that some authors are cautioning their readers of what is expected of them. One author, she wrote a book recently, basically saying that when you come to a book signing or to a lecture given by an author, essentially you're to be seen and not heard. That you're not there to ask questions. That that is the best way to show respect of an author, is just to basically roll over. Um, of course, this author has also been renowned for going to um, for having book signings at various occult stores, and when she does, she brings a whole list of demands. She not only demands, thousands of dollars up front, but she demands to be put at a four-star hotel with all of her expenses paid for, including her meals, because God know, heaven forbid, she should have to eat at a fast food restaurant or something, or maybe even just survive on a sandwich. God, as if that would be so bad. Oh, you poor baby. But and many occult stores would agree with me that they are, if they want a big name author to come to them, they have to pay them thousands of dollars. They have to meet their every demand. Um, there is another big name author, and of course, I'm not naming names. When he is contracted to go to an occult store, he actually sends them a list of demands that must be met before he will even set foot in the occult store. He demands, not only thousands of dollars in advance just for his time. He says, he tells people they're paying for my time. My time is valuable. My time to him costs thousands of dollars for an hour. But um, Yeah, oftentimes the store literally has to rearrange the entire interior of the store just for the author, because he thinks it has better energy flow. Um, some of his demands aren't that unreasonable, such as having bottled water on hand. I would personally do that because I know that when I travel, drinking the local water upsets my stomach, and I really don't want to have to deal with that while I'm somewhere unfamiliar. So that's not personally unreasonable, but sometimes authors do make unreasonable demands. The female author I was speaking of earlier, I was told by someone who witnessed it that she was the keynote speaker at a pagan event in Washington State, and they had a beautiful park set up. Of course, she refused to actually camp with everyone else. Instead, she demanded to be set up at the nicest cabin in the area, and she demanded to have fresh coffee and donuts waiting for her when she woke up every morning. Well, one day, as you can probably imagine, um, she woke up to find that there were no coffee or donuts waiting for her when she woke up. It was an accidental slip of someone's mind, I'm sure. No one did it intentionally. Well, she got in her car, drove down to the tent of the event organizers, and the person who told me this was actually with the organizers at this moment in their tent, and she drove right up through the campgrounds, right up to their tent. Look, heaven forbid she's have to walk anywhere, but she spent a good 20 minutes bitching them out just because she did not have donuts and coffee when she woke up that morning. Apparently, she felt like she needed to be treated like as queen. I don't know. I do know that I would never behave in such an unfortunate manner. It's such a lack of character. You know, it really shows you in times like this what someone's character is really like. And people like this really aren't deserving of our respect. We shouldn't be buying their books. We shouldn't be paying for their services. Um, but after she got done telling the event organizers where to go and how to get there, she got right back in her car and flew out of there, throwing sod everywhere. Almost hitting a few people, I hear. So that was that behavior like that just really. I have such a short threshold when it comes to exploitation and bad behavior like that. And the thing is, so many of these authors have extremely amazing public personas that make you feel so enticed by them, so warm and cared for by them. But ultimately, they are extremely two-faced in that regard. And God, it kills me to admit that. I have been exploited by pagan authors before, by someone that I thought was my friend, and they well, I'd known him before he was famous, and we spoke, almost every week for a long time, and he thanked me in the acknowledgments of one of his more well-known books, just as his star began to rise, and once it did, I was sort of written off. I always got the feeling that he didn't quite respect me because he felt as though I should be one of his acolytes, and I have never been one to be an acolyte towards anyone. You have to earn my respect. I don't just give it to you. And besides, I had always thought that he felt that I was his peer because I certainly felt that he was my peer until I noticed how his behavior began to change. Um, he well, it began when I gave him some constructive criticism for a book that he was writing, and then he wrote back to me saying that I was not his peer, that he doesn't respect me, and that there is a very short list of people he will accept advice from, and I am not on that list, and I never will be. I spoke with a, another pagan author, someone who is extremely genuine, and he said that, yep, that is exactly what he believes. He believes that the only people who are his actual peers are pagans and witches within the community who have decades more experience than he does. And attitudes like that they're just heartbreaking. They really are. Um, and going back to the notion of some pagans just have wonderful public personalities. Their personalities are so warm and inviting that they're disarming, and I think that's when they get you. That's when they get you. Um, a while back, about 5 years ago, I think, maybe a little more, I saw two Facebook posts going around at the exact same time. One was dealing with a GoFundMe. Well, they were both dealing with GoFundMe pages. Um, one was dealing with a little boy whose parents are pagan, and he was very, very sick. And his family was poor, and they needed help affording his medical costs. It just broke my heart. The people posting this most often I noticed were unacknowledged elders within the pagan witchcraft community, and they are really shining stars of what it means to be an elder. They posted something that they thought was right, that needed to get out there, that they felt more people should know about, so that they could help them if they had the funds with which to do so. Unfortunately, the voices that could have done the most for this cause chose to ignore it. That is the um, the big name pagan authors. I saw them every time this was posted, and they had to have seen it because we are mutual friends with some of the same wonderful elders within the craft. So they had to have seen it. Um, at one point, I even asked one author to share this link, this GoFundMe page, and she refused. I politely asked her why, and she said that she didn't want to seem political on her page. What is political about a sick little boy that needs help? There's absolutely nothing political about that. Yet she and all these other big name pagan authors are more than willing to post a GoFundMe page to pave a parking lot at another big name pagan author's mansion. That's definitely a sort of cognitive dissonance, a definite disconnect of the heart and the mind. Yeah, the heart and the mind. It just breaks your heart. Um, but getting back on track to my own example of exploitation, and I'm sorry, I'm just really emotional right now, and I'm trying to get out what I want to say as it just pops in my head. I'm not going off of any script or anything, but the pagan author who told me that I wasn't his peer, I actually discovered, or I was told rather, by a mutual friend of ours that he had written a book on a subject that I had told him I was writing about. I haven't, I put it to the side. I'm writing something else now, but not only did he, basically steal my own subject matter, but he used all of the new information that I was uncovering and sharing with him because I thought we were friends. I thought we might have a mutual interest, but that turned out not to be the case. You know, um, it's really disheartening all around. But really, the reason why I wanted to make this video is I discovered absolutely through happenstance that another occult author, one who has really made his name writing about conjure, is um, a total and absolute fraud. He has exploited so many people of hundreds and thousands of dollars, and well, because they want him to work a spell for them, because he has assured them of having a huge rate of success. But he also swindles them through his extremely kind and soft-spoken personality. And when these people find out that they have been taken by him, they try and contact him to get their money refunded, only to find that he speaks to them like a viper. He threatens them. He calls them names. He shouts at them. Just a completely different change in personality. In fact, he usually threatens to curse them with a fairy curse. Um, And apparently he is also been diagnosed with HIV and has used that as an excuse, an alleged excuse, to set up a GoFundMe page to earn money from kind-hearted people, even though he doesn't seem to be spending his money wisely. He seems to be spending it instead on trips to England. So when I see behavior like that, it just tears my heart out. I want to shout from the rooftop, don't give these authors a moment of your time. Ignore them, publicly shun them. If if their fan base and their followers, their acolytes, were not so what do I want to say? Uh, if they were not so rabid about them, because they almost have a cult-like following. I would absolutely name names because this behavior is absolutely uncalled for. Um, the pagan author that threw me under the bus, I had been speaking about him with an elder from the Midwest whom I deeply respect. And this big name pagan author actually said something to this elder that absolutely shocked me. And this elder was equally shocked and even told him how ashamed he was of him, because this big name author told this elder that he could make tons of money just by encouraging followers as he had. And uh, I cannot tell you, in a religion and a culture that is supposed to be so free thinking, how unsettling that thought is to me, you know. Um, so really, what I want to say to everyone is, think for yourself and never give anyone any power over you. Um, Figure things out for yourself. Never pay someone because you think they have the answers that you want. So that's all I've rented. I've really unburdened myself now, and I honestly feel a lot better for it. So I will just bid you adieu for now. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this wonderful breeze, and until next time, my brothers and sisters, keep calm and witch on. Goodbye. Oh, and just one tip. Just because an author is speaking or lecturing or teaching at an established botanica or an occult store does not necessarily mean that they are on the up and up. I know of some occult stores and botanicas that are well aware of an author's, shall we say, checkered past, and they are completely indifferent to it, and even, well, they just refuse to speak out against them and warn people about them. So that's also something to be wary of. Just because someone is coming to an occult store does not necessarily mean that that they are a good person, that they are anything are there for any other reason other than to make money. So